Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. This is Taylor Welding. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about helpers, people that are trying to get into the field of welding, metal fabrication, what's expected, some of the things I've heard. How can I help you guys get to where you're going? That's what this video is about. So if you like this kind of content, hit the like button. I have to ask for it. I hate it. And subscribe, okay? So the first thing that comes to mind, I was hiring on a job one time at a military base, actually. TIG welding some 12-inch pipe and 70-18 out. And there was no helpers, so we don't have helpers. I was like, well, I want to bring my helper. You know, he works with me. And he said, I'll never forget this, you need somebody to sit there and hand you welding rods? No, my helper doesn't hand me welding rods. He might go get some, but that's not it. A good helper, take Jose for example. I've had a few really good helpers. Jose is top notch. He is doing things that he knows that needs to be done ahead of me. When we're working, let's say we pulled up on location and we've got to do a bunch of fab. That's the majority of my pipe welding career has been fab. He knows I'm inside doing prints, getting measurements. He's already setting up the jack stands. He's getting the pipe that he knows we need in the jack stands. He's getting the bevel machine out. He's making sure the torch tip's clean. He's doing all the things that I don't have time to do. A good helper probably doubles a good welder's production. Now, if he can fit, if he can kind of a top-notch helper, like somebody that's really good at it. I want everybody to kind of keep that in mind as you're getting into the field. If you're a helper just because it's another job and you're just showing up, you know, I've had several helpers that ask me, when's break time? You know, how long is lunch? When do we leave? Can you take me to grandma's house? Look, you're there to do everything you can for that welder, and hopefully that welder's worth his salt and he will let you weld as much as possible. We'll talk about that maybe today. This will probably be part one of what it takes to be a helper. What is expected? How should you show up? All right, what not to do mainly. We can talk about that a little bit if you'd like. Don't expect to show up and get a welding education the first day. Don't expect to show up and weld during lunchtime every day or the first day. That gets really old. That welder gets tired of hearing that machine run, and at lunchtime, usually he wants to just be quiet and eat his lunch and do whatever. I did used to let my helper weld during lunchtime. It was a little bit painful sometimes. Most of the time I enjoyed it, but don't expect that. You know, if you do a good job and he knows you want to weld and you show him something, he'll probably bend over backwards for you. He'll probably listen to the welding machine run during lunchtime and give you welding rods that he paid for to burn. Some people won't, you know, and if that's the case, you're doing all those things and your welder's like, I'm not here to teach you how to weld, and that's the end of it. You might want to find somebody else to work with, you know. It's okay, it's business. He likes to run his business a different way than probably in a way that would help him in the end. When you help somebody, I had this conversation yesterday, when you help somebody, you get to come up with them. It's very rewarding. And that's what this channel is about. It's trying to help as many people get into a trade. It doesn't have to be metal fabrication, but it needs to be, you can do something. The end result needs to be, I can do this. electrician, whatever. When you go to hire in, it's what can you do? That's the question that gets asked. What can you do? Not, I don't care about your degree in underwater basket weaving. I don't care how many papers you have from some welding school. None of that matters. I have never been asked for any kind of papers from when I was in welding school. They just don't care. Every welding company has its own test. I'm sorry, every pipe company, shutdown, it doesn't matter what you're doing. They're going to have a test that you have to take physically before you go to work. And you either make it or you don't. It's that simple. That's what I like about it the most, because it's simple. It's like, okay, I'm here, I can weld that. Okay, prove it to me. You weld it, and then you're hired on. But there's a lot of things extra that goes with that. The people that can only weld, that's all they can do. I'm going to say they're really great at it, but that's all they can do. They don't know how to read a tape measure. They don't know how to miter fittings. They don't know how to roll flanges and maybe different types of welding, TIG and different rods. That's all going to bring more value to the company, and you'll be able to stay on longer. That grunt welder, that's just all he knows how to do is weld, he'll be let go first. That's just the way it is. But that's okay. For you guys that are just learning how to weld, that's how I got into it. That's what it took, was all I needed to do was weld. And no, I wasn't the last one there when the job was over. But I got to work quite a bit, and I got to learn a ton. That's why you're trying to get into the trade, so you can learn. You're trying to be a welder's helper, which I never was, by the way. I got to be completely honest. I was never a welder's helper. I graduated high school. The last 2 years of my high school education was half of the day was in welding school. And other, I forget, like math you're actually going to use, and welding school. It's like a vocational program. Anyway, I hired on at a power plant making, I think it was $19 an hour and $40 or $50 a day per diem. 25 years ago, that was good money. It's still pretty decent money. But for a 18-year-old kid, I was 18, that's half of it, really, because the other half is all the experience you're going to get. If you don't know what to do, just get in the way. Be part of it. Try to get in and be like the first one at the bevel machine. If the welder's not really comfortable, you beveling pipe for him, which he probably won't be. I wasn't. You'll sit there and watch, and you'll know kind of how he does it, and he'll be like, okay, well, you bevel that one. And, just don't screw his bevel machine up, okay? We've all been there and done that. Ask questions in the comments. You guys that have been in the field for a while, what do you expect out of your helper? It's not that hard in this day and age to show up and make a hand. I mean, there's so many people that are just warm bodies that are asking me when break time is, when do we leave. That's not the questions you should be asking. You should just show up and roll out when it's time to roll out. I don't care if it's cold and raining or whatever the deal is. I had to beg my helper one time to get out of the truck. That was his last day. I said, get out and roll out. It's raining. I said, I don't care. Put the tent out. This is part of it. It's cold. All that stuff goes with welding. It's not, when it's cold and raining and hot, so hot it feels like ants is biting you, that's the time to giddy up, It's just the way it is. Sometimes it's a bummer. Every time it's a bummer. When it's not 70 degrees outside and the sun's shining, it's kind of, it is what it is. Now, you guys get in the comments. I was trying to make a short video to try to encourage people in what's expected. So get in the comments, let me know what you think is the most important qualities of a welder helper, and how long should a welder helper be a helper? Where are you at in your career is trying to get to where you're going, and where have you been? I've got some people been welding 40, 50, and 60 years in the comments. Get in the comments. All right, guys. Have an awesome, awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Later.